Good morning. Happy Monday. Another beautiful morning here in Arizona. 5 a.m., 5:02 a.m. I've been up for about an hour. Just getting myself ready for the day. Relaxing. Did a little bit of reading. but I am now ready to try. Day 19, not enough minerals. Smab, welcome aboard, my friend. It's good to see you this morning. Removing indents just for me. I'm flattered. I'm flattered. Let's take a look here. Day 18. Boiling boulders. Oh, yeah. We had to find surface area. All right. I probably should have cleaned my code up a little bit. I didn't. I thought about making a guide for yesterday's. Yesterday's was good enough. It's much harder to make the guides when I don't have class happening. So my last class that was doing this was actually on Thursday. So I think the last video I made came out on Wednesday. But yeah, it's much harder to do that. Ooh. So clean. Motivation is hard. Yeah, I'm technically on vacation the next 3 weeks, and so I gotta find ways to keep myself motivated. I gotta prep for next term. I'm teaching three new classes that I've never taught before. Is that right? Let's see. I'm teaching an intro to programming class. That one's gonna be C#. I'm teaching an intro to web development, so mostly HTML, CSS, and a little bit of JavaScript. So that one's not. Those two I've taught before. I've taught that type of class before. I've got those ones down. It'll be the first time I'm teaching a class that is specifically it's called Introduction to Unity. So it's specifically a Unity class. And I've been very, very careful to tell kids it is not, Introduction to Unity. I've been very, very clear it's not a game development class. We will be doing some game design aspects, but it's a class that is about how to use Unity's interface, which is a little bit not finicky. Unity is very powerful. It's not just, I've been hired by companies to build like 3D modeling applications and stuff with, or data modeling, that sort of stuff with Unity. So it's not specific for games. It's used for games a lot because it has a physics engine. But yeah, so my idea with the Intro to Unity class is in the spring term, we're teaching a class called Computational Physics. Not to be confused with the actual field of computational physics. The computational physics course is going to be a course where we are building our own physics engine. And I want to have Unity as a way to explore existing physics engine, and then in that term. So it's sort of like the prerequisites are building up for that class. You have to have Unity background to take that class. So I'm excited about that. But the Unity one I is mostly undeveloped content for that course. I've taught programming courses where we used Unity, so I'm going to be stealing material from that. I'm teaching an Intro to Competitive Programming course, which I'm really excited about. That one, I'm going to be basically having students look at a lot of the Advent of Code puzzles, as well as other puzzles, and how to solve them and approach them in physics. That one's essentially an algorithms class, algorithms and data structures class. And then I'm teaching another one called interactive fiction, coding interactive fiction. So that one's not really a programming class, but it's a writing class with hints of programming in it. Yeah, today's puzzle, I have a nice simulation I can pass. Oh, it's another simulation puzzle. I do love that Advent of Code like gets people to write things and then massage it and really rework it and try and work on the efficiency. Unity is a cool tool. My biggest gripe with Unity is that people want to jump into it before learning how to program. And oh, the Nuth books are awesome. Yeah, I think my undergrad, um, you could buy copies of like not like hardback copies. The print shop at my undergrad, you could buy them for $25, and they would print you a copy. You'd order it, and then you'd go in and be printed for you. And it is spiral bound to have them in my library in the other room. Let's look here. Day 19. Not enough minerals. Your scans show that the lava did indeed form obsidian. The wind has changed direction enough to stop sending lava droplets towards you. So you and the elephants exit the cave. As you do, you notice a collection of geodes around the pond. Perhaps you could use the obsidian to create some geode cracking robots and break them open. To collect the obsidian from the bottom of the pond, you'll need waterproof obsidian collecting robots. Fortunately, there is an abundant amount of clay nearby that you can use to make them waterproof. In order to harvest clay, you need special purpose clay collecting robots. To make any type of robot, you'll need ore. Which is also plentiful, but in the opposite direction from the clay. Collecting ore requires ore collecting robots with big drills. Fortunately, you have exactly one ore collecting robot in your pack that you can use to kickstart the whole operation. Okay. Each robot can collect one of its resource types per minute. It can also take 1 minute for the robot factory, also conveniently in your pack, to construct any type of robot, although it consumes the necessary resources available when construction begins. The robot factory has many blueprints you can choose from, but once you've configured it with a blueprint, you can't change it. You'll need to work out which blueprint is best. Okay. Nuth wrote some like really good books. I don't know if he wrote them all himself. I knew, but like yeah. I think there's 5 of them. Someone on Reddit actually asked if they're worth getting, and I basically said, if you can, I think they're really expensive now. They might not be in print. Donald Knuth. Art of Computer Programming. Ooh, yeah, they're expensive if you want to get the hardbound. I was lucky, so they were required as, well, this is what I'm saying, like in my bookstore at my university, I guess we had some kind of deal where they were part of the curriculum. You had to get them, but they had $25 versions of each book, and like I said, they were spiral bound, like printed at the university. Yeah, they're great. Someone asked if they were worth getting, and I basically said, from a computer science perspective, absolutely. Maybe not from just like a software engineering or programming perspective. But if you actually use them and read through them and like work through them, you will grow so much. All right, so our input is a set of blueprints. We need to find the best blueprint. Blueprints have been line wrapped here for legibility. The robot factory's actual assortment of blueprints are provided, 1 blueprint per line. Oh God. That's not bad. Never mind. I thought that was gonna be horrible. This is not hard to read. It's annoying because I'll have to. Not that annoying. I'll have to take this into example. I was gonna say it's not that bad. I just the example looks so nice. No, this will be easy to parse. The elephants are starting to look hungry. Oh, these elephants, man. They're I'm not sure who I think is worse, the elephants or the elves. Or are the maybe the elephants, the elves got turned into elephants. Wouldn't that be a thing? That would be hilarious. The elephants are starting to look hungry, so you shouldn't take too long. You need to figure out which blueprint would maximize the number of opened geodes after 24 minutes by figuring out which robots to build and when to build them. Oh, this is another search problem, isn't it? Using blueprint 1 in the example above, the largest number of geodes you could open is 24 in 24 minutes at 9. One way to achieve that is man, I don't know if I'm tired of search problems, but figuring out how to trim search trees is not my favorite task, right? I would love to have some kind of cool cellular automata puzzle. So I really thought, see, I did one just to check. So I just learned about Advent of Code this year. And I went and I did problem 25, the first part, and I was like, oh, this is a really cool. I wanted to see how, I was under the impression that they got harder and harder and harder. And so I went and I looked at the day 25 of last year to see how hard they got, at least the first parts. And this was just like a fun little puzzle. I was like, oh yeah, I could use these with my students. So I decided that's what I was gonna do. Yeah, this was just like a cellular automata. I've been waiting for a cellular automata. I love cellular automata puzzles. That makes sense. That makes sense. That's a nice little gift. So I guess I should have looked at day 24. Okay, so we have to simulate the robots. We need to find, all right, what are we outputting at the end? However, by using blueprint 2 in the example, you could do even better. The largest number of geodes you could open is 24. In 24 minutes is 12. Determine the quality of each blueprint by multiplying that blueprint's ID number with the largest number of geodes that can be opened in 24 minutes using that blueprint. In this example, the first blueprint has ID 1 and can open 9 geodes. So it has a quality level of 9. Second blueprint has an ID 2 and can open 12. Okay, so we have to find, not only do we have to find, we have to do a search space for every blueprint to find which blueprint is best. So those are sort of like our starting states, and then we search down. Although, okay, what do you get if you add up the quality of all the blueprints in your list? All right. I will say I am getting a little bit beat up. Beat up, not the right word. Worn down by these puzzles. I'm not so used to doing them every day so aggressively. So it's like an endurance. Even the hardest competitions I've done in the past didn't feel like they wore you down quite well. Maybe it's because I've been making the videos, and the videos were just a lot more as well. But I do feel like I'm slowly getting ground down, and the commitment to work on them every day feels a little bit harder. Or maybe it's just Monday and I'm like, it would have been nice to sleep in. Solution. But I was already up, so I guess not. Okay. So, we're gonna find the right. What is the maximum number of geodes, right? Multiplying largest number of geodes you can open. All right, so we gotta find the largest number of geodes. Yeah, I think it was interesting. I didn't even know you could check out. I didn't know how to get to my. I saw people posting their rank, and I was going, "How do you get your rank if you're not on the leaderboard?" I didn't realize there was this personal stats thing, and the stats. Uh, okay, well, it's come back up on day 16, but yeah, day 16, a lot of people it made a lot of people sad. I remember being surprised at my own personal stats. Day 16, I was under 10,000, even though I did it much later in the day. So I was actually, wow, okay. Um, but yeah, you're right, right. I think people are just less motivated. I think people, once they hit one that they can't do, they go, well, I guess I'm done. Which is a little bit, um, or they feel like the amount of hours they have to invest to solve them is greater. Because for sure, you have to spend a lot more time if you don't have a straightforward puzzle. And again, this is another search puzzle. Each. Okay, so ore is what it takes to make all robots take ore to make. But some take multiple types of ingredients. Obsidians always take ore and clay. Geodes always take ore and obsidian. I've enjoyed all of them, to be if I'm being honest. I've enjoyed all of them. Today I think I'm just I don't know. I think I'm a little, well, I'm done with I got to the end of my term. My school term ended, so I think part of me is like, I'm on vacation. I shouldn't be doing this. I should be reading, or maybe playing a video game, although I hardly ever play video games. Okay, let's get our input here. Just to make sure. Yeah. Create new file blueprint. All right, so a blueprint. A blueprint has a couple things. It has int or robot cost. Int clay robot cost. Well, then these ones have two costs. Obsidian has an ore cost and a clay cost. And I wish I had a nice way to name this. Hang on. We're gonna do record cost. Int or int obsidian. So everything can cost one of these three costs. Obsidian, clay, and clay and obsidian are the three costs, and then we have each one of these costs. Ore robot costs, clay robot cost, obsidian robot cost, geode robot. I really liked what's the last 2 days. So there was when you say the last 2 days, did you mean the Tetris, the rock falling, and then the submersion puzzle? Or not the submersive, but like the surface area puzzle? I thought both of those were fun. Didn't make me be like, it's just another one of these dynamic programming puzzles where I have to be super smart about trimming my search space. because that's essentially what you got to do. You got to look at it and you're like, okay, well, what can I cut off this tree? How can I prune it? And it makes me feel like I'm in grad school again. Although the premise of the puzzle is much more fun than like whatever search space we're doing. So here's what you could probably be doing. You could probably finish this using Monte Carlo, where you just randomly sample, just keep randomly sampling, because you do have to get the most efficient one, but you have a thing that tells you whether or not you've hit the most efficient one. So just keep doing, just randomly, just keep doing Monte Carlo on them, and then storing your biggest one. I wonder if I could do that. That's that might be a fun way to approach this. Just see if I can do Monte Carlo simulation, and take the best results, and just have it keep running until I pass part 1, and then part 2 will be impossible. That's probably what would happen, but that would be fun. Could be fun. Okay, so let's build a parser for this. Public blueprint, public static blueprint string row. Ooh, we also have to have an ID number. Int ID. So what are the texts that we can ignore? So row dot replace blueprint space tokens. We're only parsing in integers, so I could probably just make that an int thing, but we'll see if we can get there. I think I can just get rid of everything. Replace that with blank. Replace colon. I'm gonna replace, let me steal this. So we replace that, and then we replace that with a space, and then we replace that, and we'll add 2 array at the end here just to make our compiler happy. Oh, dot split on space. Dot replace replace with a space. Replace that with the space. Get rid of all of these. Replace that with a space. And then finally replace that with a blank, and then we will split, and then select and stop parse to array. And so we should have an int array here with all of our inputs. And hopefully They all are identical. We'll run through it just to make sure. Okay, and then we end up with int ID equals tokens of 0. Cost. Eventually we're gonna return here. Cost or bot new cost, or tokens of 1, 0, 0. Clay, got a clay bot, obsidian bot, and semicolon, and a geode bot. I'm gonna return a new blueprint with ID or bot, clay bot, obsidian bot, geode bot. We just gotta parse in the right tokens here. Parse. And I gotta remember how to program. I'm not programming this properly. Alright, so then the next one, play robot cost, token 2. Obsidian bot cost token 3 and tokens 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yikes. This one is token 5 and token 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, let's write a little toString for us here. I don't know why. Oh, I have this small because I'm looking at the input. This one might be simple enough that I don't need a toString. Let's validate here. Create new file example, and then also input. And then our example, let's undo that. Okay. And string array rows equals file read all lines example blueprint list of blueprint beaky equals rows dot select blueprint dot parse dot to can I not do select there? That's interesting. Blueprint dot parse. What did I do wrong? Should return a blueprint so it can have. What is my error? The type argument cannot be inferred. Try specifying the type argument explicitly. R goes to R. This call is ambiguous between the following part blueprint.parse and blueprint.parse. What? Is this a real error? Or is VS Code just... Yeah, VS Code for some reason is got something caught up in memory. All right. Probably loaded this as an F# program first or something. That has been, ever since I installed the extensions for F#, it's had some strange issues. For each blueprint BP in rows, console.writeLine BP. All right, just double check. Sanity check. ID 1 or robot cost 4. Play robot cost 2. Obsidian robot cost 3 and 14. Geode cost 2 and 7. Okay. Okay. And then we'll parse our whole input, make sure there's no grammatically correct lines. They're all probably grammatically correct. That okay, they all parse in. All right. So we have our blueprints and our search space now. So we have all right, so the robot factory has many blueprints. Each robot requires... Can we produce multiple robots in a single turn? Is a question. The wind has changed direction to stop sending lava droplets towards you, so you and the elephants... So now I need sort of a state... a state class. New file, factory. And so this will be a public record factory. So you have a blueprint. BP, blueprint, and then you have an int. We'll have a resources type, just so this doesn't get resources. Oh, the stockpile. Int or int clay, int obsidian. So you have a stockpile. And then you also have a set of robots. Workers, bot. So we have an int or int. There's 4 different types. Int clay. Oh, we also have a stockpile of geodes. Or clay. Yeah, I can already see that this is like an 8-dimensional puzzle. So the trimming has to be int clay, obsidian, geode. All right, yeah. All right. So at every state, you can choose to do something with these. All right, so we have a factory that comes to a new factory. Public list factory possible or choices. So these are like the choices we can make from this factory. So we're gonna get a list of all the things we could do. This is the very naive, too big approach. So the choices we could make Um, all right, so if stockpile.or, let's write this out and then we're gonna probably build a helper here. If stockpile.or is greater than or equal to blueprint dot so we have, maybe the way I built this isn't quite good enough. Yeah, this is gonna get gross really fast. So if stockpile.or is greater than or robot.or, so we're saying if we have enough, we'll return choices. List of factory choices. Well, the blueprint never changes. I'm gonna create a thing called state. Maybe I just return a new factory. Doesn't matter. Doesn't really matter. List factory F choices with new, like this. The wind has changed direction enough to stop sending lava droplets. Hang on. Each robot, the robot factory has many blueprints. Collecting ore requires ore. Fortunately, you have one ore to kick it off. Can I produce 2 bots in a single round? One ore collecting robot collects 1 ore. The new clay robot is ready. Spend 2 to start building. Spend 2 to start building. Spend 3 to start building. Spend 2. Spend 3. Spend 2. Oh, you also have amount of time remaining. Spend 2 ore and 7 obsidian to start building. So that's gonna be a whole nother thing. Alright, so just because it's not in this example doesn't mean you can. The elephants start looking hungry. Fortunately, each robot can collect. It also takes 1 minute for the robot factory to construct any type of robot, although it consumes the necessary resource available when construction begins. I am gonna start with the assumption that I can't build more than 1 bot per minute. It doesn't say that is a restriction, but okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. Do have to step away just for a moment. Gonna top off my coffee here. Let's see if I can made a little graphic. Let's see if I can add that in here. Where's the button? Are you getting coffee? I know, man. So we're gonna have our little coffee guys here. Yeah. Okay, I'll be back. I'll be right back. I'm gonna need it. Look, man, coffee, gravity is the reason it doesn't spill. I'll be back. All right. Gupta. We're on a coffee break. No, I needed to get more coffee. This puzzle required additional coffee. I just had to fill up my coffee cup. Yeah, so we have another search problem here. Smab's asking why it doesn't spill, and my response was because gravity's real. Although gravity would probably cause it to spill. Fun little fact, a lot of people don't know this about me, but my I know I know, it turns out you can solve a lot of problems in this way, translating it to some kind of dynamic programming. This is how I feel about leak code and stuff. You end up in a situation where they all end up being like, oh yeah, learn dynamic programming, and then you can solve them. Learn how to trim prune trees to like read a statement, learn what nodes are not important. You can just prune whole trees. Yeah, it's what I was gonna say though is I have a lot of people in my life who believe the Earth is flat. which is just so hilarious to me, and interesting. For a while there, I was very interested in talking to them and figuring out why do I'm curious, like genuine people who I think are not dumb. These are like genuinely smartish people, but for whatever reason they believe the earth is flat. um so I have a whole group of, like, I don't want to call out my family members, but I have a whole subset of family members who believe the earth is flat. um and so I go every, probably once a year, every now and then I go down this flat earth rabbit hole of what new evidence do they have? What new things? And there's a lot of really, if you don't stop and be skeptical, there's a lot of stuff out there that is very convincing for flat earth. And so I want to teach, I have this idea for a class called Debunking the Flat Earth. Anyway, it was a little joke to myself of, why isn't the coffee spilling? Oh, it's because gravity's not real. Okay. So we were looping through our factory, deciding what we're going to generate, the all possible options the factory could take. So there's like, all right, I'm gonna add in some comments here just to reason through it. If you can make a bot, if you have the resources, you can choose to make a bot or not. So my question, and maybe Gupta or Smab, if you guys know this, can I produce more than one bot in a round? The example doesn't show any. I can imagine a situation where I have enough resources to make 2 different bots. Do you know if that is an option? Only 1 bot per minute. Okay, that I think makes it easier. I'm not 100% sure. So what I need to do is I need to generate what are the possible bots I can make, and then make those bots, and then collect resources. So then collecting resources is easy because basically I say, okay, for every bot I have, I collect that many resources. So then my stockpile, yeah, this one I wasn't sure. The example didn't say that, but I was hoping that was the case. Yeah, so in that statement though, Smab, it also takes 1 minute for the factory to construct any type of robot. It doesn't, like, it's slightly, I feel like it's saying that you can only build one. But it kind of reads to me like it can construct, if you have the resource to construct any type of robot. But I think it would say construct robots as long as you use it. I think you're right. Yeah, so that's why I wasn't 100% clear. I thought that was the case, but it wasn't super explicit. All right, but yeah, thank you. Oh, you think it means that you can construct more than one? Oh no. I'm gonna go with 1 to start out. Start with just 1, but maybe not. It's a different puzzle otherwise. But yeah. Exactly. So I don't know. Well, we're gonna start with just 1 and see. But down here at the end, collecting resources, we essentially end up with a new stockpile where oh no. I held the shift key down and had a thing. I was holding the shift key down thinking too long. So for each of our choices, we need to add in our stockpile amounts, and then we'd say, okay, for choices dot select select resources dot to list, and then we'll return that, and then public factory collect resources because we collect oh, hang on, we'll collect resources first, right? Then to start building, it's not ready yet. Yeah, so we'll collect resources first. All right, so we'll do factory f equals this with stockpile equals oh, so the reason I can't do this first, well, I guess I can, is I need to check for building before so here's another question I have. But yeah, so I can't start them. Yeah, I can't start building. I need to start building with what I have from the previous, but collect from what I have. All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna write a method. Stockpile public stockpile collect resources, and this is gonna return a stockpile. Return stockpile. With or plus equal to bots dot or equals. I can't do that like that. Or plus stockpile. Clay equals to stockpile dot clay plus bots dot clay. Or clay obsidian plus bot dot obsidian geode equals stockpile dot geode plus bot dot geode. Okay, so I can collect the resources that way. So it's sort of like new resources. And then we also sort of have like minus the cost of the bot we're building. Yeah. Blueprint. Collect resources and build, and I'm gonna just have an enumerated type public enum or clay obsidian geode. All right. bot type. And we take in a bot type. To build, and it could be a none as well. So we might not be building a bot at all. And now we need to get the cost, yeah, int or spent. So we'll do this real quick. Or play spent, obsidian spent, and geodes never get spent. Is gonna be to build is or no to build bot type dot or spent will now be blueprint dot or dot or cost. Oh god, this is more annoying. Okay, so this should actually just be a cost. This should be a cost. All right, cost for bot is equal to build, which is gonna get our cost here. So if we have none bot type dot none goes to new cost 0, 0, 0. There we go. Bot type dot or this is just going to go to our blueprint dot I was wondering why it's so quiet. My headphones were off. Blueprint dot or robot. There has to be a nicer way to do this, but this is sort of the hole I put myself in right now. Bot type dot geode robot. All right, so then I'll get my cost, and then I add this in here minus for bot dot or minus for bot dot play minus for bot dot ooh, I have an idea where that'll make it easier for me to filter something out. Stock file build bot build. So what I'm going to do is I'll return a stock. I'm just going to go ahead and apply it, and then I'll check if any of my piles are less than, if my stockpile is less than 1, it's not possible. So I can do this for all of my bot types. So return stockpile with or equals stockpile dot or minus for bot dot or we got clay, obsidian, and we never modify our geodes when we build a bot. Obsidian, clay, and obsidian. So yeah, if we choose to build a bot, so this will help us determine if it's valid. So I'm actually gonna add a little, created a stockpile type, public bool is valid. Yeah, so there's you have a perfectly functioning factory. Only it could make decisions. So what I'm telling you, Smab, if you want to, I think a fun way to do this that would probably might run a while, is you do Monte Carlo. Just randomly select states. Just randomly select stuff and make sure you don't do the same selections more than once. And then keep a like highest tally. Just keep a highest tally and run it. So if 4 is less than 0. All right, so this is going to return. Monte Carlo just says run a bunch of random things and then take the best option. That's essentially. And like if you run enough trials, you're eventually going to get. So Monte Carlo lets you get a pretty good solution a lot of the times. So Monte Carlo is a relatively reasonable way to do like traveling salesman problems. They're like, well, I'm just gonna randomly select, 3 million paths and then keep the best one. And that one, statistically, I should do pretty good because I'm filtering stuff out that way. Clay is greater than or equal to 0 and obsidian is greater than or equal to 0. Oops. And geode greater than or equal to 0. All right, so my is valid here. My stockpiles must be positive. So in my factory now, I can say try and make bots. All right, so let's do. Bot type equals none. I wish I didn't have to do bot type. Is there, so real quick, anyone who knows better than me, is there a nice way for me? I have enumerated type. Can I just do like all? Is there like a nice way to get all of them back in just like an array? Because I would really like to just have a thing that goes over them. I guess I could do a for loop and then cast it. So what we do is we say, let's just try all of these, and then we'll filter it down to each one. So we're gonna do types.select collect resources. What did I call it? Build bot. Oh, I also have to have this thing return. That's so annoying. Because I need to know what I'm gonna add next turn. Get name. Cool. Oh, it returns a string of them. I'm gonna stick with this just for now, just because I don't want to have to think too hard about it. Okay, so I actually want to do where T goes to build bot T dot is valid. All right, so these are the different Cool. I'm gonna look at. Yeah. Let me. I'm trying to grow my skill set, so I should look into it. Op, potential builds. All right, so these are my potential builds here. Let me go into a program here. So if I wanted to, all right, so let's ignore this. I have my enum type is called bot type. All right, so bot type dot get values. Hang on. C# enum. Let's go look at it. Enumeration types. Language. Enum, values, and operations. Value type. C# enum methods. Well, I was really hoping to just have a nice documentation thing that told me enum get names. All right, where does enum dot? Okay, this is what I want. Enum method. Enum. There's an enum class. Okay. Create an enumerated type. Gotcha. So I should be able to do enum dot. There we go. Okay. What does get values do? Given an enum type returns an array. Let's try this. Bot type. And I can't just type in bot type here. It has to be like type of or something. Okay. And then this I can cast, so it's going to give me back an array. And can I cast it? Okay, cool. That's what I wanted. And just to make sure this is sane, do for each bot type. Thank you so much, Smab. T in types. Right line T. Well, my program has to compile first, right? No return here. All right, that's the way to do it. Yeah. I wonder if I could write a method that's like a T to array T something. Oh, this is exactly what I wanted, bot. Bot. And then I don't need anything there. Oh, yes. Yes, this is what I want. Perfect. All my dreams are coming true. Go back to my factory here. And I don't even need that anymore. I can just do potential builds and add my filter there at the end. Okay, so now I have my potential builds. And so for each one of these, options, for each bot type, T in potential builds, I get my next factory. Collect resources. Yeah, so this should collect resources and build. Have this return a factory. And we won't return this. New pile. Turn stock or this with stockpile equals new pile, and bots. New bots. And the new stockpile is build bot to build, and then the new bots, new bot equals equals switch on to build switch. It's a minor. There are inefficiencies here in my code. Could be definitely refactored better. But we're gonna do this. This is just gonna go to bots. This will be bots with or equals bots dot or plus 1. And I still gotta do that. Alright, we're getting close. Bots with clay equals bots dot clay plus 1. Bot with obsidian equals bots dot obsidian plus 1. Bots with geode equal bots dot geode plus 1. And our new pile is actually this, and then we got to add in new pile equals new pile. Oh, or I can just do it here with, no, I'm not matching. Yeah, with each one of these or equals or plus or. I can't put new pile here. New pile equals new pile with or is equal to bot dot new pile dot or plus bot dot or comma. Whew, man, this is very annoying to write. I wish I was better at keeping this stuff in my head. Wish is a strong word. I bet there's some really gnarly, horrible code out there that doesn't really utilize types and whatnot. Throw new exception, invalid bot type. Should go. Okay, so this is collect resources and build. So for each one of these options, our choices add collect resources and build type T. So these are the potential options we have. So these are outcomes. Maybe I'll change this to outcomes. So there's fewer outcomes than I thought. Because at most you have 5 different outcomes. So that's not crazy. You just got to figure out which outcomes not to do. At every step, there's 5 outcomes, right? So now we're implement our search. Yeah, exactly. So at each step, you don't have that many outcomes, and there's only 24. So your search graph is 24 levels deep. But the thing is, you have to do it for every blueprint. All right, well, let's do a simulation. New file solver. Public record solver. This one has a list of blueprints. Blueprints. And so this one we have a state, right? So now we have a public record state is going to be int time remaining and a factory. Yeah, so we're gonna have to do a search across them all. Maybe this is small enough for part 1. We're gonna try it on a single blueprint and see if we can find the best solution quickly. I thought my state space was gonna be much bigger, although this isn't. It's not like it's a small state space. You have up to 5 branches at each level. So what would that 5 to the power of the number of time steps in the worst case scenario? Is that right? So 5. So the first step, you have a single node at the top, 5, and then you get 5 underneath each one of those. So it blows up really fast. So yeah. So it's gonna be way too big. But our choices, we'll revise this here to be smarter. Or the outcomes that we select, we can yeah, but yeah, no decisions in minute 1. That's true. We start with 0. Public and so yeah, my solver maybe should be for a single blueprint. The blueprint to solve on, and then we have a state space here, so we have a public dictionary of state goes to state int, so to max geodes. Memoized So this is state goes to max geodes. The idea is given a state, it knows how the maximum number of geodes we can get. And then I have my public int solve, which is going to take in a state to scan. And if I'm going to rename this current, let's call it state. If state dot time remaining is equal to 0, we return state dot factory dot stockpile dot geode. This is the number of geodes we have, but we got to memoize it first. So we'll do memoized of state is equal to this, and then we say at the very, very top, if state if memoized try get value of state out int results return result. I do wrong here. There is no argument given that corresponds to required formal try. Oh, I did that. There we go. Just had my parentheses in the wrong spot. All right, so these are our base cases. We've already found it. The time remaining 0, we can't do anything. Otherwise, we get all of our choices. All right, so here's the super for each state dot out dot factory dot outcomes. So for each factory f in, these are outcomes. We make a new state. So state next state equals f time state dot time remaining -1 and f new state. And then we find the maximum. So these are our lists of state outcomes. The autocomplete likes to get me there. Outcomes dot add f next state. This isn't quite right. I'm doing something wrong. This is our next one, and then we don't actually add that. We do solve next state. Yeah. We say int max equals int dot min value, and then max equals math dot max of this and max. So we get the maximum out of all of our possible states, and we memoize it. Memoized yeah. Then we got to memoize this position. Yeah, so memoized of this state is equal to max. And return max. Think this is the brute force thing to do. We have our base case. This is a depth first search over this. Let's see if we can run this solver on a single case, and I only got 30 minutes left here, and I'm still on part 1. Haven't done any pruning. Definitely not my favorite yet. All right, so we're gonna do solver s equals new solver with the first blueprint, which should be this one. S dot solve, and let's create a public int solve. Ooh, I gotta do one last thing here. This should be equal to new. We just gotta initialize that to be empty. Solve is gonna be return solve, and then we create a new state. New state with 24. Thank you, Gupta. I would be... Oh, thank you. 24 and new factory. Blueprint. New stock file 0, 0, 0, 0. New bot 1, 0, 0, 0. Alright, so this is brute force, essentially no optimizations at all. Int solution equals, and part of me wants to add in a thing of like well, let's start it up. Just 4 kicks. Starting solver. I want to add in some print lines to give me estimates on how far through I've gone. But yeah, it's the state space is I think like 5. I think it's 5 to the power of 21 without any optimizations, which is just like insane. So I'm 90% sure this will just like never finish. But while that's going on, let me think through ways I could optimize. Here. So yeah, so that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping, Smab, that the number of states is actually a lot less. That's the worst case scenario, right? Part of me wants to put a thing in here to every time I get, you know, some number of cache hits, be like, hit some caches. So I have confidence that my memoization, it works. But yeah, it's gonna be huge. And now I just got to figure out how to prune it in smart ways. So like, part of me feels so. I know this isn't true. You know, I should. I should favor. So like, what's my heuristic here? What's my heuristic? This is why I was like, well, maybe Yeah, so no, so there's just pruning. There's gonna be pruning that I have to do. Um, there's things. I think this is the like way to solve it, but the pruning. So given my next state or my choice, my outcomes, there's things like if I only have 4 turns remaining, there's like shortcuts I could take that say, is that right? So if I only have 4 minutes remaining, there is, and if I only have 4 minutes remaining, my ore robot I just gotta think through some clever, just like some pruning things here. For example, if it is impossible for me to get to 14 clay, I can just pretend I'm never going to. I don't need to look at the states where I mine additional clay. Yeah, so basically there are, his thought here, there are good solutions. Part of me wants to do just do Monte Carlo at during my outcomes here. Every time I find a better solution, just print it out, right? Let me stop this. I'm curious. Each time I get here, I want to write out just to make sure I'm getting to the bottom. Because I'm curious if I'm separate search, so I should be getting to bottoms of paths. Yeah, okay. I just wanted to make sure that I was indeed getting to a bottom. So a question is, at these bottoms, like, what dumb things did I do? Right? So for example, a little hard to see here. Maybe I add a nice print string. It'd be nice to print out, okay, what did I do to get to this bottom here? And then it'll help me say like, oh, well, that was a stupid decision, and why was it stupid? Rather than just trying to think through it. So I might need to build like in addition to adding these in, say, oh, the path I chose, my previous path. How did I get here? Cost. Where is my factory blueprint? Where's my stockpile? So like things like this, I could really prune this off because I got to 0 geodes. It's clearly something dumb is happening here where I decide just to collect ore and a little bit of clay, and I keep making ore bots and clay bots, but I never make a geode bot. So clearly there's a dumb choice being made here. But what was that dumb choice? How am I pruning this? What's the pruning options here? And so the question is, at what point do I stop making ore robots? So I should so here's the thing. All right, so I should probably stop making ore robots when I'm producing enough ore, Yeah. So it's like I should probably not even select ore robot if in one step the amount of ore I produce can always produce all of my other bots. Same with clay, same with obsidian, same with geode. So if the amount of production I have on a specific material is enough, I should not make any more of those bots. Even though I could, I should not search that space. So I think that's the optimization I need to make, is in my outcomes. Right, so in my factory outcomes, I need to like have a filter here that says, all right, so if I am building a bot that doesn't make sense, these are my potential outcomes. Build bot. Yeah, so I need a thing here that says bot type called it's gonna return me an array of bot types. Reasonable choices. And so this will become, it'll start with this. Return potential builds. Reasonable choices. So I should only make bots. Yeah. So like, I only want to make bots if making them makes sense. So for all of my choices here, so should I make obsidian? So I know I keep breaking this down into dumb things. Is reasonable choice, or is or reasonable. Let's write a dumb one like this. So it or is only reasonable if is or bot reasonable. We don't want to make or bots if they don't give us any value. All right, so I hate that I click over there and do that every time. Drives me nuts. Is or reasonable. So I need to look at all my costs, right? So costs is stock bots dot not blueprint dot costs. All right, or costs or robot blueprint dot obsidian robot blueprint dot clay robot blueprint. I'll be really curious if it works. Let me know, Smab, because what you do is you just keep running, just randomly picking paths, and then you like backtrack and keep randomly picking back and forth, making sure you don't pick the same thing you've picked before, right? So if in your set of choices that it already exists, don't do it. And then at every time you make a choice, keep track of the max, and then every 100,000 tries, print out the current max, and when it stops going up, give that pass that in. I'm really curious if that'll work. I was tempted to do that. Or obsidian, clay, geode. Okay, and we only care about ore right here, so it would be cost, go to c.ore, and then the max, right? So int max or cost. And so we're gonna say is or reasonable is if our max or costs, if we don't have enough bots, that's related to the bots.or. So we're producing this many bots. Max or cost. So if our number of bots, so max or cost minus the or bots is greater than 0. So if our max or cost is greater than the number of bots we have on that one. All right. So this is for or. So we should only build or bots if this is the case. All right. Is or bot reasonable? Is, so there is reasonable bot type, and then that's going to change our select function. So it is a function that accepts a cost and returns an int. Map is equal to type switch and if we have or bot type dot or should go to a function c goes to c.or. See, this is why I feel like there should be a far more far better way to do this. Oh, and some of them. All right, I'm just gonna. I'm not gonna generalize this. All right, I'm just gonna. My brain can't handle it. It's too early. Is clay bot reasonable? Clay max and it's essentially like always reasonable to build more geode bots, I think. Is clay bot reasonable? Is max obsidian cost bots that obsidian. All right, so it's always reasonable to do nothing. Let's make this a list. New. It always starts with none, bot type dot none. It's always reasonable to do a none or a geode. So we still have a giant space no matter what. Although geodes bots are probably expensive usually. This is a list. And then we'll just do a if is or bot reasonable potential builds dot add bot type dot or is claybot reasonable. Is Obsidian bot reasonable. I hope. Yeah. So at each step, we don't want to build a bot if we can't. If making it maxes us out, because when I was looking at the other one, we had tons of. All right. List of bot. Really, I can just do this. Reasonable choices is probably a terrible name. Oh, let's look at our ends here. Well, that's wrong. Oh, I need to also dot where S B goes to build bot B dot is valid dot to God, this is still a lot of states down at the bottom that have 0 geodes. Factory blueprint. Let me update my factories to string here. I may not solve this one on the first part on stream. This might be the first one I didn't solve on stream. Oh, I guess the Breadfruit search one, I solved it, but my Breadfruit, I wasn't getting the right result. Okay. Let's do a toString here for this guy. Public override string toString. Factory. Can I do 2 of these? Those. I'm gonna join them together. Join string. Join row. New line of rows. We'll start off with factory. Stock or stockpile.order. To obsidian or clay. Oh, I have a thought. Obsidian or clay. And geodes. And then bot. Same thing. Bots. Bots. Okay. Well, much better printout here. Bots, get these to line up because I am crazy. In my first one, oh, I need 14 clay bots. Ugh, and 7 obsidian. So that's like not super helpful. So the next thing I need to consider is if there's not enough time. So, right, so here I am, I have time 3 remaining. There is no point in making clay bots I think so. For whatever reason, I'm deciding to make clay bots. If producing a clay bot, yeah, I gotta prune it a little bit more. If producing a clay bot or an ore bot, so I only have 2 ore bots. This is good, maybe. 16 ore, 12 clay. I guess I should probably favor building bots if possible. So right now, the order of my search puts none first. All right. So just for order purposes, I should favor building geodes. And do none only if that is a last resort. So now, like, my order here should be maybe, I don't know. All right. I have 75 clay. Because I got up to 7 clay bots very quickly. So there's a heuristic here that I'm thinking, okay, if I happen to have more clay than I can use in the time remaining, that path is dumb, right? Because I'm going to get to this huge stockpile of clay, but I'm not able to do anything with it. So I need to sort of say, well, don't do that. Don't get huge stockpiles of clay. Instead, so getting lots of clay bots was a bad idea because now I can't use any of my clay. I think it was a reasonable heuristic to say not to get too many, don't go over the clay bots. Interesting. Whew. This one's the pruning on this one is tricky. So I think I'm getting close. I just got to prune it a little bit better, prune it a little bit more. I'm gonna keep working on it. I've reached my 2-hour limit here this morning. I have an appointment in an hour, so I do have to stop, get ready for that. Mab, I hope things are going better for you than they are for me. But yeah, given my time remaining, so you sort of have this. Cool. So my heuristic here now is, oh well, when I get to a point, so I'm gonna have to do something with my time remaining. If I'm at a point to where I essentially need to do a thing where I say, okay, well, I have infinite clay at this point. There comes a point where I have infinite clay, or I can think of it as infinite clay. So rather than adding to my clay, to my stockpile, I just say, all right, I have infinite clay. So if I'm at the max, so right now I keep adding it to my stockpile, but really it's an infinite amount. When I hit 7 here, it's infinite. So my reasonable choices, I sort of need to like say instead of 75, I need to do 1,000 or something. And if because that's going to really reduce my state, because essentially like all clay, when I have 7 here, that means my clay is infinite in my stockpile. And so I don't care about the stockpile amount. At that point, I can sort of jump past anything. They'll all be the same. I just gotta, so like reasonable choices gives me a reasonable choice, and then I sort of need to, based on that, set those values to something reasonably high, 1,000, rather than adding it in there. So I'm feeling like I'm trimming it off. I'm pruning it slowly here. So I got some more prunes to do, but I do gotta run. I'm very sad that I didn't run it. Get this done yet. I'm gonna keep going on it later today. I'm on vacation. I might stream again. I might not. I try to limit myself to 2 hours because streaming can get addictive to me. In the past, it's been an addictive thing, and then I don't get a whole lot done. All right, Smab, thanks for hanging out. Gupta, if you're still here, thanks for hanging out. Anyone who's lurking, I see some lurkers on my stats page. I hope this was enjoyable, and have a beautiful day. Ooh, it seems to be working. So your max number is going up. Oh, I'm gonna wait for you. I'm gonna wait 3 minutes. I'm curious. I'm really curious. The Monte Carlo thing, not guaranteed, but will give you a good answer. And especially if you have good heuristics for going down paths, it'll speed it up. So for example, a good heuristic for Monte Carlo would be like, if I can build geode bots, favor doing that, because that's going to get me things. There's degenerate cases where, building geode bots, it might be more productive to build something else, because that'll let you get more geobots later. But like that would be a good heuristic in a Monte Carlo simulation, would be do favor geodes. If I can build a geode robot, do it. Or if I can do something that's getting me closer to making geo robots, do that rather than searching the entire search space. I'm excited to see your solution here, Smab. While you're doing that, I'm gonna maybe I'll get this infinity thing in here. It worked. You got number 1. You got part 1. All right. That's awesome. Congratulations. That's awesome. That's great. Yeah. So Monte Carlo is such a good. They use it for simulating how to treat cancer patients with radiation. So like trying to find the optimal solution for how to zap. Yeah. Send me. I'm not gonna look at it yet. But that's awesome. I'm a little. I kind of wish I had done that now. Yeah. Post me a link. I'm gonna bookmark it and come back to it. I love that. I'm curious I don't know what part 2 is yet. I don't want spoilers on part 2 yet, but I'm really curious if you can solve it Monte Carlo with whatever the second one is. Cool. That's awesome. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and step away, but post it in the chat. I'd love to see it. Sweet. I might switch to Monte Carlo. And so here's the cool thing: if I switch it to Monte Carlo, I can create a beginner's guide. Because Monte Carlo is not complex. Monte Carlo is not complex. It just says keep randomly picking stuff until you find something good. So in that case, I might build a beginner's guide for doing Monte Carlo. Wow, 5 seconds. That's awesome. That's awesome. Cool, man. I'm gonna step off. Have a beautiful day, Smab. I'm so happy you got your beautiful gold star. I'm gonna keep hacking away at pruning, see if I can get a good answer. Probably won't spend a ton more time, and if I don't find a good solution, I will do Monte Carlo, because clearly it's not a terrible approach. All right, my friend. Have a beautiful day. Have a beautiful day. Take it easy.